Hi, my name is Brett Ferris, and I'm with Cross Implement in Minear, Illinois. Today we're going to show you some basic maintenance on the 600 series corn heads. First, we're going to start off by showing you how to get these snouts up into service position. First thing is you want to make sure that the header is raised up all the way with the safety stop down. Then we can go ahead and raise up on this snout until the pin locks into place. Then we pull out on the bottom pin, raising up. Guide it up, and then the shock will hold it in place when it's up all the way. On model year 2008s through 2011s, it's a little bit different getting the snouts up. You still raise up on the snout until this pin locks into place. Pull out on the bottom pin and raise up on the snout. Then you have to get this kickstand out of the locking position and lower the snout until the kickstand is in the slot. Checking the row unit gearboxes on 2012 to present day corn heads. First, you want to run the corn head for 2 minutes to get the oil warm. Then raise your header all the way up and engage the safety stop. Raise your snouts and remove this plug. Check the dipstick by pulling it out and checking oil on the 2 marks. You want the oil to be at the top mark. If it is not there, add John Deere GL5 80/90 weight till it reaches the top mark. In model years 2008 to 2011, they used John Deere Cornhead grease in the row unit gear cases. So in order to check that, we need to run the corn head for 2 minutes, raise the head up all the way, engage the safety stop. Then we're going to raise up on our snouts, and we're going to remove the dipstick out of the row unit gear case. We're going to check the grease, and we want it to be at the top mark. If it is not at the top mark, then we're going to add grease to this zerk right here. Next, I'm going to show you how to check and adjust your deck plate spacing. We want to measure at the front and the rear of the deck plates. At the front, we want 11/16. At the rear, we want 3/4. We want just a little bit more at the rear to allow for trash to pass by. If you do not have those spacings, you can adjust it by moving your stationary plate. Loosen these 3 bolts, move your plate till you achieve your measurements, and then lock these back down. Next, I'm going to show you how to check and adjust your gathering chain tension. First, you want to make sure that your gathering chains have a staggered pattern from side to side. If you do not have a staggered pattern, you can loosen this bolt and move your chain around till you have a staggered pattern. To retension this bolt, you want to draw it up until you have 3/16 inch of a gap between this washer and this spacer. Once you have that gap, the gathering chain is properly tensioned. If you'll notice, on the lower sprockets, we no longer have a grease zerk. They are not serviceable. If there's any signs of wear on this lower sprocket or the top drive sprocket, those can be flipped from side to side to even the wear. Next, we're going to adjust the auger drive chain. Remove the 3 bolts from the cover on the left-hand side. Remove the cover and loosen these 2 nuts. Then we're going to push down on this tab, tensioning the chain. Then lock down these 2 nuts, and then your chain is tensioned. Next, I'm going to show you how to adjust your auger height. Something that you should probably never have to do. The only reason you should ever have to do that is to prevent ear damage on popcorn or food grade corn. To do so, loosen these 4 bolts and slide this pedal block up. If you need to go higher, remove these bolts, put them in these holes, reinstall the bearing, and raise it up and lock it down to your desired position. Once you've done it and found the position you want on this side, you're going to have to go over to the other side and set it at the same height. Next, we're going to check and adjust the auger stripper plates. We're going to want a 1/4 inch gap between the stripper plates and the auger flighting. To achieve this, we're going to loosen the nuts on the stripper plate, pull the plate down until we achieve our 1/4 inch gap, and then we're going to lock back down our nuts. Next, I'm going to show you how to check and adjust the auger drive chain. First, loosen these 3 nuts, stick a screwdriver on top of the idler sprocket and put a light tension on the sprocket. Retighten these 3 nuts. Do not over tighten this chain as it will cause excessive wear. Just a light tension and lock them back down. To check and add oil to the row unit gear case, put the head down in the run position, remove the service plug from the left-hand gear case. If oil runs out, then you're good to go. If oil does not run out, then you need to remove the bolts from the side cover and add John Deere GL5 8090 weight until oil starts to seep out of the plug. Once it does, reinstall your plug and reinstall your cover. About every 200 hours, you need to change the oil in the row unit gear case. To do this, remove the plug on the inside frame, lower the head down all the way until all the oil runs out. Once all the oil is out, reinstall your plug and add oil as instructed earlier. There are auger trough cleanout doors on each end of the head. Just pull out on the pin and let the door hang down. Once you're done cleaning everything up, reinstall the door. Each row unit slip clutch has multiple zerks for ease of greasing. Only one of these zerks has to be hit every 200 hours with 10 pumps of John Deere multi-purpose grease. The auger slip clutch also has multiple grease zerks. Only one of these needs to be greased every 200 hours with John Deere multi-purpose grease. The input drive shaft also has a grease zerk that needs to be hit about every 200 hours. To do this, you have to line up both drive shaft shields until you can see the grease zerk. Before we go to the field, we want to make sure our end snouts are adjusted evenly all the way across. To make those adjustments, there's 4 holes that we can pin in here. You want to make sure they're all in the same hole. After that, our fine tuning comes from this bolt down here.